Nick Mazone. And so far, we've had two profitable days this week, and we're hoping to close it out here on another strong note. Just a quick recap of yesterday. We went 3-3 with the picks, ended up positive half a unit. And any day where you make money is a good day, especially when going strictly underdogs. So we are not complaining. But yeah, we went 3-3. We hit on the Reds at plus 135. Yesterday I was talking about how I think it was a very even matchup, and I was just going to take the underdog. The Reds scored 3 runs on one swing in the top of the first, and it was all zeros for both teams from there out. So we took that one. The Padres scored a late run to help cover our 1.5 run line. So that was plus 110. And then finally, our Padres and Dodgers, money line parlay came in at plus 105, and the Dodgers were able to win in extras to give us that one. Our losses, we did lose on the Tigers versus the Brewers. Not going to lie, it was a bad one. They lost 19-0. But luckily, in the world of sports betting, 19-run loss hits the same as a 1-run loss in terms of how it affects your wallet. But we also lost on the Blue Jays versus the Yankees, as the Yankees looked good for the first time in weeks. And the Astros versus the A's walked off. To make it worse or better, depending on who you are, if you guys remember the Astros bench coach talking to a guy a couple weeks ago and stormed the guy, ran into the dugout, started a bench clearing brawl. That was the man that walked off. So for people that are hating on the Astros this season, that's one for you there. But so far, we're up over 3 units this week, and we're looking to keep it going here on Thursday. So we'll get straight into it with our first game of the day. You guys might have to bear with me as I go through the captions, as they got out of order for some reason. But first game is the Marlins. Even money versus the Phillies. We got Sandy Alcantara on the mound for Miami. He's 2-1 with a 3.78 ERA and a 1.14 WHIP. And going up against Jake Arrieta, who's having a pretty bad season by his standards, who's 3-4 with a 5.67 ERA and 1.47 WHIP. So like I just said, this isn't the same Arrieta from a couple of years ago. I'm not really big into him this year, and I think a lot of value goes into just his name being on the mound. But even besides that, there are some trends. Miami does have a pretty good bullpen. They rank in the last 2 weeks 5th in ERA, 1st in batting average against of balls in play, and 10th in WHIP, while the Phillies have been down towards the bottom in these, ranking 26th in ERA, 19th in batting average of balls put in play, and 26th in WHIP. To be completely transparent here, there is an advantage for the Phillies at the plate. Got to mention that one to you, but I don't think it's that good. The Marlins, while not hitting the ball well, they do rank around 25th in most major hitting categories. But the Phillies rank around 18th, 19th, and as far down as 25. So I don't think there's a huge advantage there for the Phillies at the plate. And I'm getting a pitching advantage with the starter, in my opinion, as I think Alcantara has been doing better than Arrieta this season. And I'm also getting a major bullpen advantage, which I think is going to be the difference in this game. I think it'll be pretty low scoring, and I'm going to look for the bullpen to shut down the Phillies and hopefully edge out a close win there. So, Marlins at even money I think is pretty good value there. So we're going to go with that one. And the second game, quite possibly my favorite of the day, is the Giants at plus 160 versus the Padres. I have been back in the Padres in a lot of games recently. Seems like every day I have some sort of a Padres pick, but we're going against them today against the Giants. Trevor Cahill is pitching. He doesn't have a win or loss this year, but he does have a 2.65 ERA and a 1.18 WHIP. He's going up against Chris Paddock, who's been pretty mid this year. He's 3-4 with 4.75 ERA and 1.25 WHIP. Both those numbers are pretty league average. So Trevor Cahill's doing a little bit better. I will say he hasn't thrown as many innings, so less of a sample size. But I do think Cahill is the better pitcher regardless. I think he will have better numbers, and I think he has a better day today. But the interesting thing about this game, if we go to the bullpen, both of these teams are pretty good, but the Giants have just been kind of on another level the last 2 weeks. I have the numbers up. They're top 5 in the league last 2 weeks in ERA, batting average, balls put in play, and WHIP. And obviously number 1 in WHIP, which I love as a stat. But the Padres are 6 in ERA, but 27th in batting average of balls put in play, which is crazy to me that the bullpen's letting up this many hits, but somehow not letting up runs. I don't think that's a recipe for success. So, if they're going to be letting up hits, I think eventually they'll start letting up the runs, and why not today if we had to choose one. So definitely an advantage here for the Giants in the bullpen, as, the numbers don't lie. They've been one of the best. But also, when you take a look at the hitting stats, these are pretty much the 2 best teams in baseball recently. Giants ranked top 3 in batting average, on base percentage, slugging, batting average, balls put in play, all of that. But the Padres are right there with them. First in batting average, second on base percentage, third in slugging, and so on. So, you're giving me pretty much evenly matched teams at the plate, but I have a starting pitching advantage and a huge advantage in the bullpen. So, if you're going to give me that and then give me with that one of the top hitting, if not the top hitting team in the league right now, I'm going to roll with that, especially at plus 160, which I think is kind of ridiculous. If you wanted to make the line somewhere down towards like 120, I'd understand. But honestly, at plus 160, I think this is way too good to pass up here. So we're going to be rolling with the Giants at plus 160, not only based on value, but the value definitely, like I said, is too good to pass up on. Third and final true pick. I do have one lean, so you can stick around for that. But this is my final pick of the day. I didn't really like the slate too much. I think the lines were pretty good. But I'm going to go with the Dodgers to cover 2.5. I know it's a lot to lay, but you get them at plus 115 versus the Diamondbacks. And I've been on this for a while. The Diamondbacks are pretty much just the worst team in baseball, if you ask me. But you got Dustin May on the mound for the Dodgers, who was 1-1 with a 2.88 ERA and 1.11 WHIP. He has been fantastic this year. I think he's one of the best pitchers that isn't really a household name. And I was going up against Madison Bumgarner, who's having a pretty just no other way to cut it up other than just having a terrible year. He's 0-4 with an 8.44 ERA. So, like I said, I think Dustin May gets undervalued because people don't really know who he is. I'm a big fan of his, and Mad Bum just isn't the pitcher that he used to be. So we're going to fade him here in a big way. Also, I don't have the stats with me right now, but the Dodgers have been hitting lefties pretty well recently. I believe they rank right around 5th, maybe like 5th, 6th, around there against lefties. But there also is advantage elsewhere. We can go, excuse me, but we can go straight into batting, where the Diamondbacks, like I said, are the worst team in baseball. Last in batting average, on base, slugging. They rank pretty much bottom 3 in literally anything that you could look at in the last 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the Dodgers, while not the best, they are 14th in batting average, but they do get on base. They're 4th in that, and they've been hitting for power, 6th in slugging. So, they definitely have the edge there as well. We can go to the bullpen too, where it doesn't get any better for the Diamondbacks. 23rd in ERA, 25th batting average, balls put in play, and 27th in WHIP. So and then Dodgers rank around 10th in all those. But this isn't even more about the Dodgers. It's more just how bad the Diamondbacks are, and they happen to be going up against one of the better teams. Diamondbacks, the worst team at the plate, and one of the 5 worst teams in the bullpen. Plus, you got Madison Bumgarner, who has an 8 ERA this year, and the team hasn't won a game that he has started in. And then it's Dustin May. It's a perfect storm here. I'm hoping for a blowout win at minus 2.5. Originally when I looked last night, -2 was around plus 110, and I was going to take that to at least leave the push in play. But now -2 was around minus 110, minus 115. So I got to get the extra half run to give you guys that plus money value. So minus 2.5, plus 115. And then the one lean for today, I've given out 6 picks the last 2 days. Today we only got 4. It's game 1 of a doubleheader. It's the Tigers plus 165 versus the Cardinals. I never go too much into the leans, but Tigers, I was just talking about how the Giants and Padres rank at the top of every hitting stat. The Tigers are right there with them, so I'm going to roll with them for now a 3rd day in a row. We're 1-1 on their picks the last 2 days. Hopefully, we take one there. So I'll do the quick recap for anyone that came in late or anything like that. But we got the Marlins at even money versus the Phillies. The Giants at plus 160. I still just think that's absurd just looking at it versus the Padres. And then the Dodgers to cover 2.5 runs versus the Diamondbacks. And then obviously that lean of the Tigers at plus 165. So like I mentioned earlier, we're up 3 units this week. Hoping to close it out strong. I really like this one, actually. I think this is one of the more confident I've been with these picks. So this will be the last show for this week. I will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. For a preview in the UFC card this weekend. So you guys can tune in there if you're looking for some advice on the world of MMA. But thank you guys for tuning in this week. I know only 3 shows with Labor Day, but appreciate you guys, and good luck with your bets. And hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow, but if not, next week.